those twitchy little movements that Verena has. It is innate to us. It actually creates this primal feeling of fear within us when something moves counter to what would be normal. We believe that the reason for this is that if someone was sick or an animal has rabies, something that we're not used to that could be actually dangerous for us. And so it sets off this primal, there is something wrong, but I can't really put my finger upon it. It makes us want to have an aversion to that, keep us safe from it, be on guard. Immediately I have this aversion where I want to throw something at it. Oh, that little twitch that she does back and forth, like it isn't okay, and the chittering noise that sounds kind of like an insect. A lot of insects that were at one point dangerous for us kind of bring about this feeling of an aversion. Innately, us having an aversion to animals that for many of them are poisonous or dangerous to us kept us alive. And so that innate want to keep away from something that is not healthy or well was a biological benefit to keep us alive as a species. So you want to remember that we have 100,000 years old brains in this modern society. So we have all of these old adaptive benefits where we don't see that many insects or snakes or other animals that are dangerous for us, either poisonous or vicious or could have caused us disease or plague. A lot of animals get their information from taste or smell. And so for humans, we get a lot of our information through our visual cortex. But for animals, they get a lot through scent or through taste. And this puts her off that perhaps she's more animalistic or perhaps more of a monster than what she seems to be. But then again, what is a monster?
Who are you? I'm Verena. You were having a nightmare. I came to check on you.
But then we have this wonderful empathy. She's caring and thoughtful. She crawled up the wall and down it as an animal. She made these chittering noises. She tasted her, yet then she has this empathy. So we end up with this juxtaposition of who is she as a person. Now, the interesting thing with nightmares for all of us is that it isn't really the content of a nightmare that matters, what you are actually dreaming about, but what does matter is the emotional content. Were you scared? Were you angry? Did you feel trapped? Were you repeating something? This actually does have a psychological impact of what is happening in your own psyche. And so that Siri keeps on having these nightmares that are plaguing her means that there is something that she is worried about during her day. At night, our dreams are what our brain is putting into long-term memory or trying to solve or trying to get rid of. And so that time of our sleep is vastly important. To dream is important for putting our brain's laundry where it should be. And so it's very significant that Siri is having all these nightmares because that means that there's something bothering her in her day-to-day life also.
Did you like the dress I left for you?
That was you. Yes, thank you. Evelyn said you're a cat.
I love that because one is that she left a dress for her as an offering. Cats do bring you offerings. If they really love you and they want to impress you, they're gonna bring you their little tiny bird or rat. It shows this care, but also it was a beautiful dress that suited Siri as well. So she wasn't just offering her anything. She was offering her and knew this would be something that she cares about. And so this also separates her from, is she a monster or is she not?
I am different. I am not you. But I am like you.
Are you a monster?
Are you a monster because you are different?
I love that question because what is a monster? Is it something that is different? Is it something that is scary? Is it something that you don't understand? Is it something primal? Is it something that hurts things? That if you call something a monster, then it can be destroyed. But maybe it's doing things for reasons that you don't actually understand. For us in our own psyche, when we've done things that we shouldn't have, when we've made mistakes, does that make us a monster? Is a monster something that you only see on the outside because they're scary looking or move in a way that is creepy? Or is it truly what happens on the inside? Is that the cause of our own actions? I think for a lot of us, We've sometimes worried that we've done something that's monstrous or that might be unforgivable. And I think that that's our human journey in order to find peace with ourselves, even for the parts of us that we may not want to see.
Monsters do bad things to people.
Humans do bad things to everybody.
That's so telling. It's so true. Animals and monsters are probably killing because they're hungry or they're scared or they're defending a territory, where humans, we sometimes do, and sometimes animals do this as well, just so that we can be clear. But we often do things just for fun or for profit or for benefit or because we can. So does that make us actually the monsters? I don't have the answer. Were you wanting the answer? I don't really have the answer to that.
He hid you from the Witcher. He loves you.
She blushes a little bit and gives this soft smile. That was this full teenage girl moment of finding out that the person that you care about likes you back. And it's such a relatable response, not a response that you would expect from a monster.
This must be our secret until you leave.
In order to cast a spell on Ciri, she kisses her hand. Not something that a monster would do that is scary with loud noises and frightens someone. It puts into question her character and what is a monster.
Mine. Oh, nobody's. I love you.
And then we have these really primal emotions coming from her of love and loss and not being able to have anything. I think that we've all felt those feelings of just needing to have someone so badly, so deeply, that nothing else matters.
He'll come for you too.
Meaning, you also are different. You also may be a monster, and he may also hurt you. And I think that for all of us, we worry that if someone truly knew the depth of our monstrosity, who we could be, that perhaps no one would want us either. And so I think that it's a really human thing. I have a lot of people that come to me and say, you know what, if people really knew who I was, I mask up, I pretend, I look beautiful for others, because if they really knew the depth of who I could be as a person, no one would want to hang around with me. Though the truth is, probably most people would rather you for your true humanity, because who wants to hang around with someone that is perfect?
I think there's something wrong with me. Everywhere I go, people die.
A lot of times, especially for children, they blame themselves. When there's been hardship or divorce or a separation or something bad has happened, we often can be overly responsible and think that it must have been us. We must be the person to blame, and that can be really painful. Often it is not accurate, but it is a fear that many of us share.
Sometimes I feel like I could burn the whole world.
And there we go. She knows her powers. She hasn't shared it with Geralt. She's worried that if he knows, that he may hunt her down, because that's what he does. That's his entire job.
I wouldn't mean to. Just makes me so afraid all the time.
And that's what Verena had said to Ciri, is that please don't run. If you do, I won't be able to stop myself. I don't want to hurt you. That inner need to chase may overtake me and I may hurt you anyways. Maybe her base instincts, that need to keep ourselves safe, that time when our anxiety levels get so high that it shuts off our working memory and we do things that we wished we had not done, may overtake her. So what Ciri is worried about, because especially since she has not trained herself to control her powers yet and barely really understands them, when we get really angry or anxious, our limbic system shuts off our working memory and we become limbic or monstrous, and we lose control of what we are doing. We are not at our best when we're really anxious or angry, and she's trying to let Geralt know in a metaphor that she may lose control of herself, and she wants to know what will be his reaction as a monster hunter if she becomes monstrous.
Fear is an illness.
Oh, I love that he softens his voice. He knows exactly what to say to her to make her feel soothed and calm. And he understands that the thing that will do this to her is fear, the fear of who she might become. And he understands this all too well. He himself has nightmares, these nightmares that show that this fear has been plaguing her.
If you catch it and you leave it untreated, it can consume you.
Oh, so right. He's absolutely accurate. He's doing great therapy at this moment, this great teaching tool. It does. We allow our anxieties and our fear to control us. Not only will it control us, but it will take more and more, just like an illness can overtake the whole body. It can become who you are.
You face it. Facing your fear is not easy, but I am here for you.
And that's absolutely right. It doesn't have to be fast. Little tiny steps, small practices. The fear loses control over you. You become more strong, more powerful, more comfortable with being in that place of not being comfortable.
But I am here for you. I won't let anything happen to you.
But for Siri, you see that face, that smile. At first, this makes her feel warm and comforted. You can see that smile, that micro expression that she does, then it goes away. She's still scared that if he knew the true truth of her powers, then maybe him, as a witcher who has been trained to lose all emotions and empathy and care, though we totally know he still has them, that maybe he will still have to do what he does as a job. But you see that fear that plays in the back of her head, that those words are beautiful, but he doesn't really know who I am. Let me know if you liked this video, and if you did, hit subscribe, and if you want more great videos on Witcher or Arcane, let me know in the comments below.